What inspired me to play the piano? Well, the first most important thing was that there was a piano in the family home. That was the key to everything. My parents then said, well, they could see that I had this gift where I could sort of listen to things and play them or copy what he did. So I was sent to piano lessons, but I didn't really get on with them because the music wasn't really music that I enjoyed playing. It was the very simple little the dance of the Pixies or something, and I thought, well, I had no interest in playing it, so I just didn't go. I only wanted to play what I loved, what I could hear. Well, my tips for the budding pianist taking up the piano, the first thing is that you do have to have a piano in the house. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of people say, well, I'm thinking about learning the piano, should I get one? Well, you're never going to learn the piano unless you've got one. And once there is a piano, you've got to remember a piano is a piece of furniture. It's a friend in the corner of the living room. It certainly was in our house when I was growing up. And when you lift up the lid, it's kind of magical. Even if you've got it's sort of fascinating. You know, the fact that it's loud and quiet, and you can sort of play chords. And not only that, you can look at the chords. It's laid out in front of you, unlike on a guitar or an instrument you blow in. There it is. Everything's sort of like you can understand it. So the first thing. Tip number one, get a piano. Yeah. Tip number two is really, I think, you've got to love it. So only really try and play music that you love. Love what you play and play what you love. Otherwise, there's no point. If you're a professional musician, sometimes you have to play some things you like more than others. But if you're playing for pleasure, and if you're learning the piano, and you're first getting to grips with it, what's the point in playing anything you don't like? So try and find somebody who can teach you the things that you love. Otherwise, there's no point in learning them, is there? If there's no point in playing music you don't love, and you can't. And that's the thing that will inspire you more. So it's whatever the music you love, that's what you've got to follow. One of the things people quite often ask me is this: they say, they'll say, when I was young, I had piano lessons, and I sort of quite liked it, but I prefer going out, and I didn't really follow it. And now I'm older, it's too late. Well, that really isn't true. I think it's actually, in many ways, easier to learn an instrument when you're older, and here's why. One is because your concentration span is much greater. To sit at a musical instrument for an hour and engage with it is actually a pleasure, and because you're going into a different world for that hour. You're away from whatever your other world is. When you're a child, you're maybe being taken away from something you want to do. You maybe want to go out and play with the children out in the street or whatever you want to do, and you're being made to stay in. So I think the first thing is that it's from that point of view, and you can concentrate on an hour, for an hour, much easier when you're older, and you can understand, I think, and take in things. I mean, all of us can work out how to work out mobile phones. Perhaps not all of us can, but many of us can, or work out computers. And if you can do that, the understanding music really is really easy. And also, perhaps you understand yourself, so you'll know whether you need to learn by learning by sight reading, or whether you need to learn by ear, and you'll understand yourself what you're better at because of the other things that you've achieved in your life. And the other thing is that I would say as a word of encouragement is I feel, and I think any musician hopefully feels, professional musician feels, that they're improving all the time. It's not like you get older and you get worse. It gets to a point where physically or mentally you're then impaired, but really it's a constant improvement. It's not like you're a sportsman where you're depending on physical strength. It's a different thing. So I think the older you get and the more you understand yourself, the easier it is to learn, and the easier it is and the more enjoyable you can understand how to enjoy it. So that's what I would say to people. So I think it's never too late to take it up.